All right, so we're diving into this podcast today. It's from 4S Ltd. It's called How to Create a Digital Marketing Strategy. We're really going to get into it. No digital marketing for dummies
I,
stuff
I
here.
like that idea.
Yeah.
There's so much more to it than just throwing up a website
Uh,
and hoping for the best.
totally. It's like setting off on a road trip, with no map and a vague idea of maybe heading west. You might find something cool, but you're probably going to get lost. Waste gas, sleep in your car.
Yeah, that's a good analogy. Like a digital marketing strategy is your roadmap. It helps you define your destination,
Yeah.
your goals, and then you can figure out the best way to get there.
Speaking of goals, this podcast is all about SMART goals, and we've talked about those before. But it's
Yeah.
worth thinking about how those goals apply to your specific industry.
For sure. Like just saying increase website traffic is way too vague. So let's say you're in tech and launching a new software product. A SMART goal could be something like generate 100 qualified leads for our new software through targeted content marketing and LinkedIn ads within the next quarter. That's specific, measurable, achievable, relevant to your business, and time-bound.
So we've got the destination figured out, but we got to figure out who's coming with us, right? Our audience.
Exactly. It's like planning a trip and figuring out if you need hiking boots or flip-flops. You know your audience, their demographics, interests, pain points. That's essential for creating the right content and campaigns. That's where tools like Google Analytics and buyer personas come in.
I love buyer personas. You're actually meeting your target audience. You get to understand what they want, what they need.
And then you can talk to them directly. It's so much better than just yelling into the void.
Okay, so roadmap, destination, passengers. What about the vehicle? How do we choose the right digital marketing channel? Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, TikTok. Are billboards even still a thing?
It can be tough to choose. We don't want to end up like that bakery you mentioned, trying to sell cakes on LinkedIn.
Oh, yeah, that was rough. And the podcast talked about this. A B2B company might do well with LinkedIn, but a fashion brand might do better on Instagram.
Yeah, it's all about finding where your audience is.
Makes sense. It's about focusing our energy in the right place. Speaking of impact, this podcast was really into content. They kept saying, content is king. But I feel like that's kind of a shallow statement.
Yeah, just churning out content isn't going to work. It's like putting bad gas in your car.
So what makes good content then?
You got to provide value. Your content should teach, entertain, inspire, or fix a problem. You're giving them something good, and you're getting their attention and trust.
I agree. Good content tells a story, gives you new ideas or actionable advice.
Exactly. Storytelling is so important. It helps you stand out. The podcast had a great example of this, actually.
What was it?
It was a campaign for a fitness tracker. But they didn't focus on the features. They showed the story of someone who had struggled with weight loss. It was honest and real.
I like that. It shows that you can break the mold and still connect with people.
Speaking of connection, have you ever seen a campaign that felt so fake it just turned you off from the brand?
Ugh, all the time. They're trying so hard to be cool or relatable that they just miss the point. I saw this with a clothing brand recently. They tried to get in on some social justice thing, but it just felt so fake.
That's exactly what not to do.
Yeah.
You have to understand your audience and be real. People can spot fake stuff a mile away.
Totally agree. It's about doing the work, not just talking about it. So we've talked about content. What about our competition? Where do they fit in?
I think of them like a GPS. They show us different ways to go.
Interesting.
Yeah, what are they doing well? What could they do better?
It's easy to forget to look around at what other people are doing.
For sure. Maybe they have great social media, but a bad website. Or they're spending all their money on ads and forgetting about their other content.
So it's like a game of chess.
Yeah.
Okay, let's talk about SEO. Can we skip the basic stuff?
Sure. It's really about making sure Google can find your website.
How do you do that?
It's not magic.
Yeah.
But it's more than just keywords. Think of it like a cake. Keywords are just one ingredient.
Okay, I'm listening.
You also need good content. A website that's easy to use, links from other websites, and some technical things in the background.
So it's a whole job in itself.
It is. And it's always changing.
So where do we even start?
You need to know what your audience is searching for.
Right, so what problems are they trying to solve?
Yeah. And then you use those words on your website and in your content.
But not too much, right?
Right? Google knows when you're trying to cheat.
So you have to write for people and for Google.
Exactly. And don't forget about the technical stuff, like how fast your website is, if it works on phones. All of that can affect your ranking.
So it's always learning and improving.
It is. But it's worth it. When SEO is done right, it can bring people to your website without you having to do anything.
I see. Okay, we've talked about goals, audience channels, content, and SEO. How does it all fit together?
That's a great question. It's all about measurement and analysis.
Ooh, tell me more.
It all comes down to data. We can track every little thing people do online, and that tells us what's working and what's not. It's like having a whole team of analysts working for you, crunching numbers and giving you reports.
Okay, I like it. So what can we learn from all this data?
Well, we can see things like how many people visit your website, how much they interact with your content, how many of them become customers, and how much money you're making from all of this.
So it's not just about likes and follows.
Nope. We want to see real results.
I get it. So we can see what's working.
Yeah,
And then we can tweak our strategy. It's
exactly.
like a constant feedback loop.
It is.
But how do we actually make sense of all this data?
Well, there are tools that can help. Things like Google Analytics and social media dashboards.
So we don't have to be data scientists.
No, not at all. You just need to know what to look for.
Okay, that's good to know. But what about staying relevant? The digital world is always changing.
That's true. We need to be flexible and adapt.
It's like surfing.
Yeah, you got to ride the waves.
So how do we stay ahead of the game?
Never stop learning. Go to events, read articles, follow the experts.
Are you a lifelong student?
Yeah, and don't be afraid to try new things.
I like that.
And remember, you're not alone. There are tons of people out there doing this.
It's a community.
It is. So as we wrap up this deep dive, I want you to remember, it's not just about the numbers and the tech stuff. It's about connecting with people, building relationships, and making a difference.
I like that a lot.
So be authentic and really try to help your audience.
And if you have any other materials you want us to take a look at, just let us know. Until next time, keep learning, keep growing, and keep connecting.
It's like you're getting feedback all the time. You can see what people are responding to.
That's really cool. I can see how that would be helpful.
It's all about being strategic. You have to make a plan and stick to it.
But you also have to be willing to change course if things aren't working.
Exactly. It's a balance.
So what's next for us?
Well, we're going to keep learning and growing. And we're excited to see what the future holds for digital marketing.
It's always changing.
It is. But that's what makes it so interesting.
I agree. Well, this has been a really insightful deep dive.
Thanks for having me.
It's been a pleasure. And to all of our listeners out there, we hope you learned something new today. And we'll see you next time for another deep dive. Bye for now.